Talking with the experts.
And so a lot of that has to do with the overarching issue of time management. Because this particular client that I talked to yesterday, she said too, she wants to get up in the morning, go for a walk before she starts her work. But she's been blowing off the walk for so constantly. And so I said, why is that? Oh, I just don't get into bed early enough. So I said, okay, let's look at a way to change that. Set an alarm when it's time for you to get ready for bed. And then by, I think she said 11 o'clock, it's lights out, but those are all tied together, because I think if we have a morning routine, that really starts the day off much better, and so for me, what it is, it's 30 minutes of meditation, and then I hop on the same amount of time I hop on my stationary bike, and then after that it's a shower, coffee, and then I'm ready to tackle the day.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And I would love if you'd head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe, and remember to tick the bell when you get there, because then you'll know when my next videos are uploaded. So that would be terrific. Thank you. My guest today is Christoph Nauer, and we're going to be talking about time management. And Christoph is a certified business and life coach and was born and raised in Zurich in Switzerland and now lives in California. He is a Brian Tracy certified time management master, holds a BA in business and teaching credentials from Switzerland, and a master's degree in Theological Studies. He brings over 20 years of pastoral ministry to his coaching practice and is the founder of Balance6 Incorporated. Christoph helps business owners develop systems so they can improve productivity, profits, and personal life by balancing the six: money, health, relationships, time, self-improvement, and higher power or spirituality. His clients dramatically increase their productivity and time off with less stress. And he's got a growing list of happy clients who experience a sense of empowerment in both business and life. Welcome, Christoph, and thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Terrific. So tell me how you got into time management. It's like a little bit of a specialized area in business.
Yes, I think what it is we all have the same amount of time. It's all up to us how we use it. And as a business owner, we get to decide when we work and when we don't. A lot of folks love the fact that they're their own boss, but that also can come with challenges, because now it's up to me to decide when work and when not to work and so forth. And so my wife and I were always working full time and raising 3 kids. And so we realized that how precious time was. And we felt guilty when we were trying to have a babysitter and go away. And kids were already with a babysitter. But we also knew that if we didn't do it, we just couldn't go on. We needed to recharge our batteries. And so I always love to tell this story, because one night we decided, okay, this is it. We got to go out. We got a babysitter. We were pulling out of the driveway, and the kids were standing on the top of the driveway with the babysitter, and they were chanting. Guess what? They were chanting, "Party, party." And we would look at each other and say, okay, we feel guilty about leaving the kids behind, and they were having a blast. there's something wrong with the picture. Now, of course, that's only natural because things are different with the babysitter than with the parents. And so they were having a good time and give us a chance to recharge our batteries. So, that kind of was the starting point for me to realize, we need to look at the way we spend our time and do it most productively and efficiently. And I see a lot of business owners, actually, they're wasting a lot of their time because they're working on the wrong things. And so that's what I really helped them with, focus on the right things and do the things that cannot be done by anybody else.
Okay, so what are the right things, Christoph?
Well, there's a prioritizing process that Brian Tracy teaches, and it's simply called the ABCDE method. I think he probably used that because it was easy to have follow the alphabet, but the focus is really on the D word in there, which is to delegate, and the E stands for eliminate. Those are two things that people have to focus on. And then the A tasks are those that are critically important for your business. If you don't do them, then your business or your personal life suffers. And so that's where, Brian Tracy's training was based a lot on his book, Eat That Frog. And I always said it's not a culinary dish, okay? It has to do with doing the biggest, most challenging tasks first and not last. And most of us, me included, we're human, we rather do something that's easier and less challenging than tackle the big thing that are challenging, right?
Absolutely.
So we procrastinate. Well, that doesn't mean that big challenging task is going away. Exactly the opposite happens. It gets bigger and bigger and gets heavier and heavier, and it weighs on our shoulders. And what it really does, it zaps energy and productivity out of us. I don't know about you, but remember when you get a task done, one of those challenging ones, you feel like $1 million afterwards. You're re-energized and ready to tackle the next thing. And that's what he's talking about, And then the B and C, those are basically tasks that, yeah, they'd be great if they get done, but there's not critically important that they do get done. So that's really the focus is on the A task. And one of the things that separates me from so many other coaches is that for me, A tasks, self-care is an A task. It's not an afterthought, not just stuff for business and business growth, but doing something for yourself. And one of my clients actually said to me, "Oh, it's so nice that you give me permission to put myself first."
Well, if you don't look after yourself, then you don't have a business, basically. And I'm promoting self-care all the time, and I must put my hand up and say that I'm very guilty of not practicing it on myself, but I do encourage others to do it. I think as a business owner, we always, most often tend to put ourselves last, and the business comes first, or the family comes first, or the friends come first, and then when it comes to yourself, then you're all burnt out and you're tired, and you think, I really can't be bothered looking after myself, and and really you've got to make yourself the priority because you're the person who owns the business, and if, as I said, if you don't look after yourself, the business certainly is not going to look after you.
Yeah. And I always say that, the only time we get this correctly is on the airplane. They tell you, put your mask on yourself first before you help somebody else. But that's not the message. I don't know about Australia, but in the US, that's definitely not the message that our culture portrays.
No, it doesn't. It's look after everybody else first. I think that's just the way we're brought up, though. Looking after number one, which is yourself, is deemed selfish, when sometimes you've got to practice that little bit of selfishness. Otherwise, you just can't keep going and going and going. I don't believe.
Yeah, right. And I think that is a wrong message that our society sends. Yes, I'm not talking about being selfish and not caring about anybody else, but taking care of yourself. Looking at what it is you need to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
is critically important.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's only, 2 or 3 hours a week, for women, a massage or a facial or, a pedicure, manicure, whatever, just get away from your business, away from your family, and just go and do something, go for a walk in the park. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to go and spend any money. It's just go and do something for yourself that makes you feel whole and, at peace, because,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
can't do
absolutely.
it otherwise. You just can't
Yes.
keep going on. You'll end up
Right.
in the loony bin otherwise.
Yeah, so true.
The little men in white jackets will come and take you away.
Yeah, you do. And then you can't really run your business.
Absolutely not. No. All right. So you've explained the five, the A B C D E that Brian Tracy teaches. What are the 6 things? Balancing 6. What is the 6? I did sort of say that in the introduction, but why are they only 6 things?
Well, those are the things that I believe if we balance them, that's when we are at our best. So we all get into business because we want to be our own boss and we want to make money. And so we have to have some goals about financial goals. What is it that we want to create financially? Are we happy with our profit margins? Are we on track with retirement goals? What are we saving? How much we want to save? What we do want to do in giving back? All that kind of stuff. Those are all the important things to consider. When it comes to time, what kind of vacations are we taking? What are our office hours? Now that there's not so new reality anymore, but a lot of people have home offices. Now, I sometimes say, why don't you post your office hours on your home office door? And when you catch yourself walking towards your home office outside of office hours, turn away and walk away. Or if you can take it a step further, you can give the key to your home office to your spouse, and then that way, if you go there outside of office hours, you have to ask for the key.
That's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? You might never get the key back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for ways to help folks really implement that balance so that they don't work 24/7. And it's so easy to do. It's like, oh, let me just quickly do this, and to quickly do this easily turns into a half hour, an hour, 2 or more. And I just talked to a client about exactly that on Monday, and she said that she has her study and she does personal and business in there. And so I said, well, I would recommend that you may try to separate them, because what happens quite often, she goes in to do something for personal, and soon enough she sees, oh, I got to do this for business, and boom, before she knows it, it's 11 o'clock at night.
Guilty. Guilty.
Well, I was not trying to point fingers, because I don't even know if that applies to you. But,
yeah, I come in here, I think, I'll just sit here for a minute. I'll just read my email. Okay. And then I'll go and, check my socials and thing. And then I see something, oh God, I forgot to do this, or I forgot. So it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before I get to bed.
right.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you're groggy,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so a lot of that has to do with the overarching issue of time management. Because this particular client that I talked to yesterday, she said too, she wants to get up in the morning, go for a walk before she starts her work, but she's been blowing off the walk for so constantly. And so I said, why is that? Oh, I just don't get into bed early enough. So I said, okay, let's look at a way to change that. Set an alarm when it's time for you to get ready for bed. And then by, I think she said 11 o'clock, it's lights out, but those are all tied together, because I think if we have a morning routine, that really starts the day off much better, and so for me, what it is, it's 30 minutes of meditation, and then I hop on the same amount of time I hop on my stationary bike, and then after that it's shower, coffee, and then I'm ready to tackle the day. when I blow that off, I don't function the same way. I don't play at a 10, as I call it. So then next is, the whole idea of health. I just briefly addressed it. So what are we doing for our health? That can be, I don't know what, a lot in our country, a lot has to do with weight loss. But, what foods do we have to eat? What lunch break? People don't take a lunch break to sit at the computer and shovel some food in, and they think they're more productive. Well, I'm sorry, it's a myth. So remove yourself from your office for 30 minutes, sit in the backyard or whatever and enjoy something simple to eat. And then you're much more productive in the afternoon.
I think this woman and I've got, I think she must be my twin.
And then, so, then exercise, what kind of exercise routine do you want to have? So that's the health category. The self-improvement, there's always something more for me to learn. And the more I improve my skill set, the more I can help my clients, so it's a win-win situation. And to me, I think there's somebody who feels like they know it all. I don't know, there's just something wrong with that, because there's always more. And that's quite often I learn from my clients, which is fantastic. They talk about, do you know this book? I was like, no, I never heard of it. And, then I start reading that book. Then also because of my background too, I believe we're all spiritual beings, so what do we do to nurture our spiritual side? And whether that's meditation, whether that's prayer, whether that's, for some people, it's reading scripture, whatever it is, and then that should be incorporated into our daily plan. So when I work with my clients, I ask them to set SMART goals in those 6 categories. That's really the place to start, because clarity is really the most critical component of productivity. The more clarity we have about where we want to go, the easier it is to then create an action plan to get there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, but I don't practice it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, only 3% of people have written goals for their lives and businesses.
Yeah.
And sometimes we plan our dinners more carefully in our vacations than our lives and our businesses.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's very true. And I mean, I'm guilty as charged on everything. I just I don't take enough time for myself. I'm sitting here all the time. My husband says, "Oh, when are we going to spend some time together?" I said, "Well, we're in the same house because I work from home. What more do you want?" So after 30 years, it just becomes, I don't know.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to do, and it takes effort, and another D word that people don't like, discipline. It takes discipline and self-discipline to, break out of that and do something about it.
Yeah. My friends and my extended family are always nagging me, "Get out of the house, Rose. Get out of the house. Go and do something." Okay, I will. When the weather's nice, or when I finish this, or I'm always making some excuse so that I'm just stuck here. And I'm not that I don't love what I do, because I absolutely do love what I do. But it's I wonder I haven't got square eyes. I've got rectangular glasses, I suppose. My eyes aren't quite square yet, but I think they're probably headed that way.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. When you love what you do, you don't really work a day in your life. That is so true. And we are blessed that we can make our passion our business. I think that's very fortunate. And too many people they say, "Oh, thank goodness it's Friday," and it's like, wow. I mean, I've had those jobs, where you can't wait for the weekend. I think we all did, but it's not a way to go through life. That's just,
No. And the weekends were never long enough, were they?
Yes, exactly. The Mondays.
Yeah, but you're right. You need to have a passion for what you do when you go to business. I'm writing a book at the moment, and one of the things that I'm saying, it's all very well to have this idea to start a business because you're good at something, but you've got to have that passion behind it. Otherwise, it becomes a job, and it's not something that you really love doing. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So Christoph, have you written any books?
Funny that you should ask. Actually, I just published one, let's see, it's almost a month ago. It's an ebook now on Amazon. It's already considered a bestseller in a couple of categories. Thank you. It's called From No Time to Free Time, 6 Steps to Work-Life Balance for Business Owners. And it's available on Amazon. As you may see in the background there, I have on my shelf is an author's award from Take Center Stage. So that I just received a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So yes, thank you.
Oh, well done. Okay, so what's the name of the book again?
From No Time to Free Time, 6 Steps to Work-Life Balance for Business Owners.
Beautiful. Okay, people, go and have a look. I'm sure it'll be very enlightening and you'll learn a lot. Good-o. And so what else do you do, Christoph, other than run Balance6?
I also have a podcast like you, and that now I've increased the outreach to interview guests on it as well. So I want to reach a large audience, want to spread the news about my book. Part of the reason why I wrote the book, there's several. One is I can reach more people that way, then if they can read the book, and if they implement the stuff that's in there, it'll change their lives, it'll change their businesses. But it can also hopefully be a lead generator,
Yeah.
And then I do, so the weekly podcast, that's something I started during COVID. Been told long times I should be doing that. So I first started out on Anchor, just audio. And then my videographer said, hey, you're missing out because you're not on YouTube. And so now, let's see, in November of last year, I switched over to Zoom, and it's on YouTube now.
Well done. Congratulations on that too. Yeah, I started mine last year in July to help business owners because, I could see a lot of small business owners were closing their doors because they didn't have ideas on how they could, change the direction of their business during lockdowns. And this is, I think you were my 190th episode.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I've got up to I'm nearly 11,000 listens now, so in the 390 days. So, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, it was quite a shock actually a couple of weeks ago, because it was like only 7,000. I thought, it'll take me forever to get to 10,000, and then next thing I know, it's like over 10,000. I thought like 300 in a couple of days. And I thought, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I'm trying to get to the top 10% though, but it'll take me a while because there's something like 2 million podcasts out there or something stupid like that. So
wow, yeah. Well, hey, it's not bad to have a lofty goal. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, it's good. So I guess where can people find you, Christoph?
So they can go to my website called balance6.biz. So balance and then the number 6.biz. If they want to get the book, there's a link there that takes them to Amazon where they can get the ebook. They can also get a free report, 5 steps to take your business, get your business onto autopilot. And there's the podcast link is there. So that's really the place to hang out and learn more about me. There's a 7-minute video that pretty much tells everything about me, that I created when I went through the rebranding process 4 or 5 years ago. And it really talks about the work I do and what I do and who I serve and so forth. So yeah, that's really the place to hang is balance6.biz.
Yeah, so all those links will be in the description when I post it to audio and to YouTube. So look out for that when you're having a look at Christoph's interview. Any last words of advice, Christoph?
Just, if you say you don't have time to plan, think again. 1 minute of planning can save you up to 10 minutes of execution. So have a plan, have a schedule for every day. Be sure there's something on your schedule for yourself every day. Don't put yourself last, put yourself first. Once you do create a schedule, stick with it. Okay, don't give it over to somebody else. Just because somebody else, your client or whoever, is disorganized, does not give them the right to derail your carefully planned schedule. Stick with it. I always use the image of the story of you calling a dentist. I cannot call my dentist and say, Doc, I'd like to see you tomorrow at 2. She will just laugh at me and say, yeah, haha, my next opening is, and she tells me when that is. And usually I jump and say, oh, great, thank you, I'll take that. So why is she more important than you and me? I don't know. We're not. A client of mine called his attorney and thought he could just talk to him right there on the phone. And so when he was told that by the receptionist that, when the next appointment was available, he got all irate. And then when he told me about it, I said, well, I would like you to do the same as your attorney. And he just looked at me like I was from a foreign planet. I said, yes, he runs his business correctly. And I would like you to do the same. There's no difference between you and him. So yes, have a plan, have a schedule, stick with your schedule. You're as important as everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Christoph, talking to you and learning more about time management and how we can all better manage our time. As I said, I'm guilty. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking with you and being able to reach across the continents from California all the way to Australia.
Yeah. You have a great night. See you later.
You do the same. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.